Ladies and gentlemen, from the creator of Sinister Bunny Studios, this is the Metal Brain Podcast. Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Metal Brain Podcast. Today I have a fun little topic to discuss that shouldn't take too much of your time because I am by myself yet again. Hopefully that will be changing soon and I'll be getting some guests on here so it's not just me rambling into nothingness. But I figured a good short little topic that I could kind of discuss today would be about guests, like about who I would want to have on the podcast as a guest or guests. And I've got a short little list here of a handful of names that I could come up with that if I were asked right now on some kind of show, like who were the 8 biggest people that I would want to have on the podcast to have a really cool discussion with that is outside of like the people that I know and my friend circle and family and stuff. These are the people that I came up with. So without further ado, we can just jump into the first one. And before I actually jump into that, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm trying something out a little bit here. I've got 2 different camera angles now, which is obviously going to help when I have guests. I'll have multiple camera angles, which will be nice. I finally figured out how to get that whole thing working correctly and all succinct and working together. So you're probably going to see this cutting back and forth between 2 different shots here. I've got my kind of wide angle main camera look here that you guys are used to, and then I've got this more like up close zoomed in like fancier lens shot here. As you can see on the main lens here, it's like, you know, just everything's for the most part in focus and it's a wide angle. This is a really close up, and as you can see, even my hand is out of focus, my whole background's out of focus behind me here. It's just it's a cool lens. So you'll notice that throughout this if you're watching the video form. Anyway, now without further ado, let's get into the guest list. So, and these are in no particular order, mind you. They're just a group of people that I have listed. No order in any way. The first one is Devin Townsend, and I would love to be able to sit down and have a conversation with him because, and I think a lot of people would, he's just such a cool person and he's done amazing stuff. Like, he's made some really amazing music. He's jumped all over the place in the kind of music that he's put out. He's, you know, kind of self-produced a lot of stuff at the same time and done a lot of things by himself, and he's always had his own kind of signature sound, and I think that's something to kind of respect, especially these days, and he's been doing it forever, you know. I kind of relate with that a little bit in terms of I'm my own producer, I'm my own mix engineer, I'm my own master engineer, I'm my own recording artist, I'm my own singer, my own guitar player, my own drummer technically, when I program, I'm my own bassist. Like, I do everything myself, and it kind of reminds me a lot of the stuff that Devin does or has done. And interviews that I've seen with him, he is like a really cool guy, and I don't doubt that he would be an awesome guest. I would definitely try to like come up with questions and topics that are far different from the usual that he usually gets asked. I'm sure I would sprinkle in some of the more usual stuff after I get over like freaking out if he was ever on, just to get a different angle and ask some interesting things to keep him engaged, because I'm sure a lot of people who do a lot of interviews and stuff, when they get asked the same questions from different people over and over and over, it probably gets really, really old and really boring, and you're just not, your head's not there in that moment, so you don't make cool things. Your head's not in the space where you're just like, yeah, it's like the 10th I've been asked that, blah, 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 blah. Here's my repeat answer. It's like, oh, hey, that's different, that's really cool, and then they'll be more engaged. And I think just I have a lot of things that I would like to talk to him about, and specifically like what he has done with his music, because if you have never listened to Devin Townsend, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but he is his own genre and he has his own sound, and just the things that he's done is incredible. And I've found videos that are out there of him like giving tips on how he does all these things with the recording, and that was like a gold mine for me. And like I thrive on that kind of shit. So like I could talk to him for hours. Like I'd have so many things that I would want to talk to him about, and he would be like a really, really, really cool guest. And not to mention, he just seems like a really cool kind of down to earth guy. And that makes for kind of great conversation, and he likes to fool around, and obviously he doesn't take himself too seriously, which is great as well. And that definitely creates a really cool atmosphere. And he just, I don't know, I've idolized him for a long time because of his music and what he's able to do. And it's just, he goes against the grain a lot of times, and he doesn't care. And if you don't like it, then he doesn't, it's not for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If you like it, cool. If not, whatever. Nobody's lost, really. And, the whole reason why I made the decision a while back, and I mentioned this on my YouTube channel, my Sinister Bunny Studios YouTube channel, not the Metal Brain podcast, but there was a time, because obviously I don't come from like money, and it's not like I'm making bank or anything, so big purchases are kind of a thing that I sit with for a long time before I make a decision, especially like with this main camera here. This was like $1,000, and that was a big purchase for me, and it took me forever to convince myself to even do it. But at the time, I had been thinking about getting a new microphone. And the one you're listening to me on and the one that you see me talking into is that microphone. And it came down to a live stream that Devin Townsend was doing during all this crazy COVID shit. And he was answering like fan questions and stuff that were sent in chat. And he picked mine as one of them. And I asked him, like, if he recommended the Shure SM7B, like what he thought about it and if it was worth the money. And short answer, he said yes. It's worth it. It's worth to have because it's so versatile. It's a legendary microphone. Like, you can't go wrong. And so I bought it, and it's been great. And like, it was one of the greatest decisions to upgrade my equipment that I've ever made, aside from like the camera and whatnot, because it shoots 4K. There was another live stream where he answered more of my questions. Like I always, had good questions that he would pick. And then one of the last live streams that I was watching, it was like on my birthday, I think it was. And I was like, yeah, he was talking about like being old. And I was like, yeah, I just turned like 20. I turned 24 myself. And I already feel old. And he was like, oh, it's your birthday. And he sung me happy birthday, which was crazy to me. He was like, all right, guys, let's do it. And he sung happy birthday. And then he did this thing that I've never heard of where he was like, oh, you're 24. So, and Virgil. And he said my name 24 times, which is the thing that I never knew was a thing. But apparently it is because he did it. So that was cool. And I made a video on that and I got it like recorded. I screen captured the whole thing on the stream. So like that was really awesome. And yeah, I just think he would be a really cool guest. He's got a lot of things that I like in someone that I would want to talk to, and it helps that I kind of idolize him for his music and whatnot. So Devin Townsend would be a really cool guest. The next one is yet again another musician, more on the YouTuber side of the world, and that is Rubio Assad. And he is a really cool dude. I love his style. I love like the music that he makes and the music that he gets involved with. He's just like this fucking powerhouse of a guitar player and songwriter, and just the riffs that he comes up with are just so fucking good. And I would just love to sit down and just have a conversation with him because he seems like a really cool dude. He's done a lot of crazy shit, man. Like he's a successful YouTube content creator, and he makes his music, and I jam out to his music, like Grinding Gears Volume 1, 2, and 3. Like I jam out to those in my car all the fucking time. And then the stuff that he did with Tosca was really awesome, and like I just really like his stuff. And eventually I will have one of his signature Chapman guitars when I get the money for it, along with the other 50 guitars that I would want in my collection. I did buy one of the Tone City Wild Fro distortion pedals that kind of got branded with his name and his whole Fro logo thing. And I did a whole video on that on my other YouTube channel and all that, and made a song with it called To and Fro, because like Afro, to and fro. So he's a phenomenal guitar player, and he does all this really crazy stuff that I wish I could be doing, like with different guitar amplifiers, and he's doing all sorts of crazy shit that is just laid back and just doing what you love and playing your instrument and making cool things, and that's all I want to do. And so I idolize that a lot. And he seems like a really cool, down-to-earth, genuine dude that I would love to have like a long-form conversation with. It's not like I need to have him on because he's like somewhat famous. No, it's just because like I idolize him as the guitar player that he is and the content creator that he is, and I would just love to have a conversation with him. I would love to sit down and have some kind of long form, as much time as he could give, conversation with him. So that would be fucking great. And Rubio, if you somehow see this, hit me up, dude, because it'd be a really cool thing to do. It'd really great to have a conversation with you. And I mean, if I do end up having you on at some point, and then people are looking back on this podcast in the future, man, oh man, we get to really see if I get any of these names on the podcast in the first place. Like, we'll see how successful this whole endeavor goes if I get any of these people on. But yeah, Rubio Assad, fucking killer guitar player, cool dude. I would love to have him on at some point. Like, really, he'd be one of my top to get on, just because he's involved in the YouTube content creation world, and he's a guitar player that plays a lot of heavy metal type stuff, and he just seems like someone that I could talk to. He's not like in that space of Tom Cruise, like you can't touch him because they're like this big fucking celebrity. He just seems like someone that I could have a good conversation with. Next guy up is one of those bigger celebrity guys, John Petrucci. And yeah, that's a stretch. That is a fucking stretch. And for those who don't know, John Petrucci is the lead guitar player of the progressive metal band Dream Theater. I said that weird. Dream Theater. And if you don't know me very well, I have been a huge fan of Dream Theater since I was really, really young. Always played their music on my guitar stuff. I played some Dream Theater music to audition for Berklee College of Music when I auditioned back after I graduated high school and all that fun stuff, and got in, with my guitar playing and playing some Dream Theater stuff, and so that was fucking sweet. But yeah, I have a John Petrucci signature guitar thanks to my girlfriend, and I know a lot of Dream Theater music and like how to play it, and I listen to them probably every day, at least one Dream Theater song a day, and then John Petrucci has his solo stuff like Terminal Velocity and other projects like Liquid Tension Experiment. He's just one of those guitar gods that I gotta have on here, because if I was ever given the opportunity to have him on for even like 10 minutes, I could die happy. Like, he's just one of those. He'd be another top one, but more of like one of those unreachable top ones, because who fucking knows if that'll ever even come close to happening. But John Petrucci is one of my guitar idols, one of my guitar heroes. He is a guitar god, and I eventually want to get some more of his guitars, the more high-end ones, the Ernie Ball ones, not the Sterling, because I have a Sterling, which is still fucking awesome, but like the Ernie Ball stuff is like the $4,000 guitars. Those with the piezo system on it, oh, those are fucking gorgeous guitars. That's the other thing. He's pioneered this whole thing with his guitars, and his fucking guitars are amazing. And it's really hard to come up with new shit in the guitar model world. Like, it's hard not to repeat shit. But having him on would be fucking sweet. Like, absolutely awesome. And I'm sure a lot of you, if you're Dream Theater fans, would agree with me that he's a really cool dude. Like, really fucking cool dude. Like, and he's another fellow bearded man. So that's just fucking enough right there. So John Petrucci, fuck yeah, that would be a dream. Next up, I have another YouTube space guy and kind of live music and bigger band type music guy. Weird way to say it, but Ola England. He's another fucking content creator, like fucking monster guitar player. He's done stuff with The Haunted and Feared and his own solo stuff. Like, he's in the recording world with music out in the world with bands and on his own, and he does the whole YouTube thing, and he just seems like a really down-to-earth dude, again, who doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't take himself very seriously by any means. If you've watched any of his content, you would know that. You can't go watching a Ola England video without hearing a burp or a fart sound, or like genuine burps from him, or fart sound effects or anything like that. And he's just like a really cool dude, and he came up with his own guitar line, his own brand of guitars called Solar Guitars, which, I would fucking love a Solar guitar. There is one Solar guitar that I have that is like the Tele model, that's like the weathered wood looking one, like the dark wood with like the metal pick guard. Oh my fucking god, I want that so goddamn bad. That is a fucking amazing guitar, and I will have one day. But having him on here would be really great too, because again, he's a fucking down-to-earth dude, it seems, and from his coffees with Ola that he's had with people, that's kind of like a talk show podcast situation. I wouldn't call it a podcast because it's not like this. It's more of just like a sit-down talk show on a couch kind of thing. He just seems like a really cool fucking dude, and again, he doesn't seem like one of those unattainable celebrity types, so it would be a really fucking awesome conversation to talk about metal music and YouTube and just creation and recording with him, because he's been there, he's done that, and he's still doing it. So Ola England, motherfucker, you Swedish god, you, come on, doors open. Everybody else I've listed so far too, and will list by the end of this podcast, fucking open door policy here. Anytime you want, just fucking come on here, just hit me up, we'll make it happen. We will fucking make it happen. But Ola, fucking, let's do it. Let's do it. He would be a great guest. I can already tell. This is fun shit. Next one is another YouTube musician dude. I have to give big props and hype to for inspiring me to start my Sinister Bunny Studios YouTube channel back in the day. This is Leo from Frog Leap Studios, who does a lot of metal covers, and he's like one of probably the biggest metal cover guys. He inspired me to do my own metal covers and shit like that. Like that's the whole idea that I had behind Sinister Bunny Studios before I branched off and started doing other shit with it. That was the main focus of it. And I would like it to still be, but it's just like time and other things that I've discussed in other podcasts, like the cost of creation and shit like that. But he would be a really cool dude to have on as well, because he's pioneered this like metal cover world on YouTube, and just trying to pick his brain on like how he functions so efficiently and gets these out every week, and how he picks songs, and just his whole process, and like the experience that he had before he started doing the YouTube shit that he had for like recording bands and stuff. Like, I would love to pick his brain. And again, he's from another part of the fucking world, which is a whole other like interest thing to me in general. Being in Norway, like, that'd be fucking sweet to talk to him, just like how Ola is from Sweden, right? So like, Leo would be a fucking dream as well, because he's such a core component to the inspiration that I had to do any content creation. Like, there was like a filmmaker attitude that I had for a long time, and that's still there, but like the whole inspiration to start the music side of my YouTube stuff really sparked from watching his stuff. So he holds a very special place in my heart for inspiring me to start doing anything. Like, we would not be sitting here today, you would not be listening to me or watching me right now if it weren't for him. So having him on would be a fucking amazing thing. Like, mad respect for the guy. Big time. Huge fucking fan. Again, you're going to notice a trend here with some of the people here being like content creators, and that's just kind of how it goes, because those are kind of the quote-unquote celebrities these days, and a lot of my inspiration for doing what I do, which is technically content creation. So, yeah. My next guy is another like YouTube guitar player. Different world. It is Rob Scallon. And he is a really cool dude because of the stuff that he does as well. And I would love to get a Rob Scallon guitar. Like that, the dark version, like the black with the like burgundy racing stripe down the middle one. I want one of those. An 8-string preferably. That'd be fucking sweet. Or even I'll take a 7. Like that'd be fucking great too. But those guitars are really cool. But Rob Scallon has been a huge inspiration for me as well in terms of like what direction to take my YouTube shit. Like when I wanted to see like what people were doing and what was working, he was one of the guys that I would look at. So like he was a big inspiration for me as well in terms of like the stuff that I would make. It's just that is what it is. And he seems like a really cool, down to earth dude who would have a really cool long form conversation, and it would be productive, and we would get some interesting things. And he's also like more close to where I am, right? So like Petrucci, he's off touring all the fucking time. Devin Townsend, he's up in Canada. Rubio Assad is across the pond. Ole England's in Sweden. Leo's in fucking Norway. Rob Scallon is based out of Chicago. I believe. Pretty sure. Chicago. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's from Chicago. I'm in Michigan. That's like pretty damn close. So like that could be more reasonable of a thing to have happen. Like in terms of being in person for anything, that logistically is a lot easier than some of these other people in terms of being like more in person as opposed to like doing a Zoom call. But man, like some of the shit that he's done with just creative fucking guitar things is insane. Like, and now he's got all these cool videos about like these historical kind of instruments and like how they work, and he gets these people who are kind of like specialists that play these instruments and stuff, and that's really fucking cool shit to watch. And like I know it's not like short form bingeable content, because I know that's what people love these days, but it's like 45-minute plus videos on these like crazy fucking instruments that you otherwise probably never would have heard of. Like a hurdy-gurdy or whatever it's called, or the fucking spinning glass thing that he did recently. Like, you would never fucking know about that shit otherwise unless you just dove deep into weird instruments and shit like that. But just like being able to pick his brain about like his process and how he does things and where he gets his ideas and like just what makes him him. And it would be fucking sweet to have him on as well. To like just fucking talk, man. Like, and he's more close to home physically, like location wise. So like maybe we can hit some cool key points there together. And I don't know, it'd be fucking sweet to have him on. Like eventually I'm going to have to try to reach out to some of these people and be like, hey, would you be willing to do this? But like, I got to build the fucking huevos to do that in the first place. But he would be another huge top contender to get on here just to fucking talk. It'd be fucking great. Like, awesome. Okay, so I have 2 left. All right? 2 left. And they're both, again, YouTubers. But very, very different from what I've talked about so far. They're not musicians. Well, one is. But they're not music-based content creators. But they are they are people that I have idolized for a long time and watched their stuff for years. And they also inspired me to make cool shit. So the first one is Jacksepticeye. Now, he's like a gamer YouTuber, or started off that way, and mainly that's how I think of him. He does all sorts of other like reaction videos and stuff now, which a lot of people do, but mainly I think of him as like a gaming channel, right? And the cool thing with Jacksepticeye is that he is a metalhead. Like me. He likes metal music. And he plays the drums a bit. So, like, in an ideal world, if I could ever get Jacksepticeye to collaborate on some kind of musical thing, having him play drums, that would be fucking sweet, right? Like, that'd be a fucking dream right there. And between you and I have been working on a song about Jacksepticeye that I was going to release once finished. But that's the problem. It's not finished. But you didn't hear that from me. But having him on to pick his brain about his adventures on YouTube and his rise to fame and all this crazy shit that he's done, like the live stuff that he did, the live stream stuff that he does, the charity stuff that he does, the fucking gaming content, like, what more do I have to say, really? Like, he's been a huge inspiration for me for a long time. Like, back when I first started college and was trying the whole gaming YouTuber fucking thing that obviously was never going to work out, and it's just an embarrassing thing that I did in the first place, but he inspired me to make content and make videos and do the whole gaming thing and try to entertain people. Because I know he's talked about that before. That's all he likes to do, is just to, like, entertain people. And I connect with that because, like, deep down, that's kind of what I want to do as well. Like, I want to entertain people with my music and the things that I make. Like, that's it. It's that simple. And I think he's very much the same way. And, again, he seems like a down-to-earth, cool dude who would be cool to have a long-form conversation with. And, you know, I would I would talk about the YouTube stuff, obviously, because it's kind of the elephant in the room with that kind of shit, but, like, I would love to dive deeper into his whole musical side, because that would be fucking sweet. I don't know if anybody's really asked him much about that. Like, I think it's a public knowledge that he plays drums, and maybe somewhat public knowledge that he's a metalhead, because he's mentioned a couple things before, and he's uploaded, like, a drum cover of a System of a Down song, I think, before. But, like, picking his brain on that musical side would be fucking sweet. That'd be fucking sweet. So cool. It's so cool. When you find these traits on these people that you look up to and idolize, it's like, they're a metalhead too? They're, like, a metal musician too? Oh, no way. It's fucking sweet. So, having him on, again, would be a dream. Like, come on, guys, let's fucking make it happen. That would be fucking awesome. If you got connections to anybody that's listening, I'm willing to get some help here to make some things happen. So, I said it. Jacksepticeye, awesome. Fucking awesome. And my last, final guest, as of right now, that I would love to have on the podcast and just sit down and talk with is another YouTuber, another gaming YouTuber who's done a lot of cool shit that has really inspired me a lot. Markiplier. He was also one of those YouTubers that I have watched for many years. Many years. And he's a really cool fucking dude, you know? And he's done some really amazing shit in terms of content. Like, yeah, he did the gaming stuff, but, like, have you seen a heist with Markiplier or a date with Markiplier? And now he's got, like, going to space with Markiplier or whatever. It's like another with Markiplier thing in space that's going to be coming. That was fucking revolutionary, man. Like, you changed the whole format of the whole watching a YouTube video thing into like a choose your own adventure book. That's fucking insane. Like, who thinks of that kind of stuff? Like, it would be amazing to sit him down and have a conversation with him and pick at that kind of stuff. And I would try to go to a musical side because I know he tried the music stuff a bit. He was trying to relearn how to play guitar and sing and all this other stuff. Like, and maybe he does more stuff behind the scenes that you don't normally see on his channel. But picking his brain on the musical side, but also the YouTube shit, because that's important. But it would be fucking awesome to have him on. And again, he's one of those people that has inspired me from the beginning to make cool things. Like back when I was doing the stupid fucking idiotic bullshit gaming channel thing back in college, he was a huge inspiration for me to make shit as well. If I was watching to see what people were doing in the gaming world to try to like catch on trends and stuff like that, Jacksepticeye and Markiplier were the people that I usually looked at to see what they were doing. And just kind of follow them. And so, like, they played Subnautica. I'm like, oh, I gotta fucking play that on my really shitty laptop that really can't run the game very well at maybe 10 frames a second. But I'm gonna do it anyway because fuck it. Like, I was just so inspired to make shit from those guys, and Markiplier too. Like, it would be a fucking dream to have Markiplier on. Plus, a lot of you listeners would love to have him on your headphones or your car speakers or whatever you're listening to this kind of shit on, because he's got that radio-friendly voice. He's got that low, radio-friendly voice. Just naturally. He doesn't have to fake it like I am right now. Like, he's just got it. Dude. He's got a soothing voice. It's a nice voice. Not to be weird, but it's a nice voice. And let's make shit happen, guys. Let's make shit happen. If you're listening and you really want to hear that kind of shit happen, share it. Fucking send shit to people. Get that shit out in the fucking world, and let's get these people on. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Start tagging people and sharing this and tagging these people. Let's fucking get shit happening, guys. Let's fucking hit the ground and run. Let's get this podcast fucking out there, because we need to make a difference. Like, we need to be different here, okay? This Metal Brain community needs to make a difference here. We need to stick out from all of those other podcasts that exist, because everybody and their brother has one these days. But are they all good? Are they all high quality? Do they all have multiple camera angles? Do they all have this mic? Well, a lot of them have this microphone, but do they have this brain? No, they don't. Okay, and my brain is special. My mommy told me so. So that's my list for now. So I think 8 people: Devin Townsend, Rubio Assad, John Petrucci, Rob Scallon, and Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, and Leo. Those, if I were asked right now to only pick 8 people in the world, would be the people that I would get on now to have on this podcast. To have a long form, as long as they can give, conversation about music, what they do, and other cool shit. Not in a weird, like, every other interview they've ever had kind of way, in a different way. Like, structured to be different, to get different information, to get them to interact differently, different. That's what we need to figure out here. And that's what I will do. That's what I will provide you. So, with that, if you have not already, follow this podcast on Spotify and Anchor and Apple Podcasts, wherever else you can see this available. Subscribe to the Metal Brain podcast YouTube channel, and you can watch the video forms there on the YouTube channel. You can watch the video forms on Spotify if you're into that kind of thing, or you can just listen to the audio, because that's there too. So make sure you do all that. I try to post a lot on the Metal Brain podcast Instagram, which has gained quite a few followers recently, which, sweet. I'm all for it. And yeah, let's fucking do this, guys. Let's keep this going. I've been consistent so far with getting these out every week, which is helping me feel good about what I'm doing here. And hopefully you guys are taking a liking to it. And hopefully I get some cool guests here soon. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for listening. And I will catch you guys on the next one.